Southern skies, the throttles choke. Fast and fierce, racing souls, tearing through the endless cold. Twisting metal, thunder growls, screams of tires, dirt that scowls. Crank it loud, boys, let it blast. Modes of fury racing fast. Southern Fried Racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Every lap a rebel's dream. Gasoline, hearts, and the scream. Dave and Dean crown the track. Each corner fight, ain't turning back. Crank it loud, boys, let it blast. Roads of fury racing fast. Southern Fried Racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Nights alive, wheels embrace, burn the streets, set the pace. Hours, speed's the creed. Southern Fried Racing breed. Southern Fried Racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Nights alive, wheels embrace, burn the streets, set the pace. Hours, speed's the creed. Southern Fried Racing breed.
Hey, Southern Fried Podcast fans, this is Dave the AM for the Southern Fried Podcast. We want to advertise for W, who's got some special things going on. So are you tired of those energy drinks that you drink and they give you the jitters and the crashes that come from the typical drink? Look no further than W Energy Drink. It's a revolutionary new beverage that will keep you energized without any of those downsides. For a limited time, folks, a limited time, W is offering an incredible 30% off on everything they sell. That's right. You can stock up on your favorite flavors and save big while enjoying the smooth, sustained energy that only W can provide. I'm a customer member, and I can testify to this. I love this drink. No shakes, no crashes. And if it can help my mental acuity, I'm happy too. Awesome. They have a unique formula that provides you a perfect balance of focus and vitality without any of those unpleasant side effects that we don't want. No more of those shaking hands, crashing you in the middle of the day. Just pure clean energy to help you tackle any challenge that comes your way. But don't wait too long. This 30% offer won't last forever. Go on over to W's website now and start shopping. Remember to smash that promo code Southern Fried into the area where they ask you to put that in there, and it'll help us as well. You're still going to get the 30%, but it'll let them know that you are supporting us, and so we appreciate it today. So try W Energy Drink and experience the difference for yourself. Your body and mind will thank you for making the switch to the energy drink that truly delivers on its promises. Don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to save big and upgrade your energy game with W. Don't forget, use that promo code Southern Fried.
Got me on the pressure. She got me on the pressure. She likes the obvious. She don't like Pablo. She find out the man.
Oh, yeah. Well, here I am. No Dean tonight. Pray for Dean. He had some under the weather kind of stuff and hated he couldn't be here. We talked notes back and forth, but this is Dave in the AM with your Southern Fried Racing hour or so. We say hour. It might go other. Rob may join me in a few minutes just to throw some things out there, throw the monkey wrench in there, so to speak, the crescent wrench into the engine or something. But we're excited about the race hour, and we'll continue to do this every week. Dean will be back with us. I don't know if he's able to watch. If you're watching, Dean, love you, man. You're awesome, and you hang in there, man. It's going to be okay. I think we've all had something in podcast land where we just couldn't make a show, and those things are going to happen. We try not to, but you know what? This is life gets in the way sometimes. Lord knows, life's been in my way. Well, they were in Homestead, Miami. What a great race! I really enjoyed the race, and so really all the way schedule thus far, I have enjoyed the racing. It has been competitive. It has been, not boring at all. What I mean by boring is, I mean, sometimes you get a guy that runs a lot of lead laps, but you may have a lot of action going on behind him. I'm okay with that. Sometimes, though, you just get those races where they're just running in a line forever, and it just seems like there's nothing happening. Some people root for the wreck, excuse me. I don't root necessarily for the wreck, but that is part of it, and you look to see who's going to mess up. And this race was really clean in that regard, although there was the pit mishaps, and I call it the synchronized pit maneuver, where you had those two cars collide, and they just did a synchronized, turnaround in the backside of their facing backward in their pits. But they weren't penalized because they were in their pits. But unfortunately, it cost more time because they got to turn back around. That and a nudge here or there. Nothing major. Good clean race. And I think kind of went, except for a couple things, kind of what me and Dean were talking about. We thought would happen was, some of the cast of characters we thought would be near the top. And we did both mention Larson as it's a track he likes. He does well there, and he's been on the move, and you can't hold that guy down. And of course, he won the race, and it was a late getting there. He was moving up all day, took that lead late, and held on to it. We're going to show a couple of videos along with that, and I haven't previewed these. Oh, I did on my phone. I hope they come in good. But I do want to show some of that. But we'll show one first of all early on as we see continued struggles for some, and then we'll look at the schedule, we'll look at the results, and we'll look at the points tonight, and we'll just talk about whatever. And I hate because Dean says he's got like 2 pages of notes, 1 page for Homestead and 1 page for Martinsville, I'm sure. And that's where we'll be going next. We'll look at that soon, and we'll pick his brain. And next week, hopefully, he's able to join me in studio, and we'll back up and go over those notes. Not a problem. We do that all the time. We do want to say as we start off, you see below my name there, Dave in the AM. That's just my handle. It just sort of happened, and I like it. And it's become my online name, Dave in the AM. The Patriot Mobile promo code is active. Now, we don't have our landing page yet, meaning where folks, can go and just see that, or we don't even have that access yet, or the ads and stuff that will be coming from Patriot Mobile. But we're super excited about this, and we are excited that the promo code is active. Cornbread, I wonder if anybody else in their family of media personalities, podcast, whatever, I wonder if any of them have Cornbread as a promo code. I doubt it. They wouldn't let 2 people do that. Could be a variation, but it could be Cornbread 1. But I'm sure if somebody had it, they said it was available. So Cornbread, or they could be Southern Fried Cornbread. We just said Cornbread. We use Southern Fried as a promo code on another affiliate, so we decided we would stick with Cornbread on this one. And we're really the Southern Fried Cornbread Nation, because there are a lot of Southern Frieds, and we are the Southern Fried Podcast. But to make sure that we don't trample on anybody else, because there's a lot of them out there, and to just separate ourselves. SFP is our logo, Southern Fried Podcast, but we're also Cornbread Nation. So on our website, you'll probably see that, Southern Fried Cornbread Nation. Now, some people have Cornbread Nation, but nobody has Southern Fried Cornbread Nation, to my knowledge, but me as all as one. So that'll be on our website. That also, we've got an early preview as we're making decisions on what we like. And the website is coming along. It looks good. It's going to have those, places for us to blog, and it'll have our links. Our links are not loaded yet. It looks good, and they're working with the budget we have, and so we're appreciative of that. We'll add to later. Not that it's small or anything. It's a good size. It has everything we need. We just You have to do things in stages, and we're doing that now. And really, Patriot Mobile is going to be the vehicle that will launch us even to higher and better things. We believe that, they believe it, and we're standing on it. So if you haven't made the switch, do that. Get away from it. I'm switching phones over. We got a business phone that's going to go first, and then we'll be peeling others away to go to Patriot Mobile. I love their America First. They stand on First and Second Amendment, pro-life, and American First values, based in Dallas, or not Dallas, but based in Texas. And they're just awesome people, faith-based. They don't have a bit of problem talking about Jesus in business meetings, and I love that. And they are going to be standing behind us very hard, and we appreciate that. You can be able to feel it with a lot of people, and we love Mammoth, we love W, and we love Podbean, but Patriot is they're amazing. I just have to say that, and we're excited about it. So we'll be seeing and hearing a lot about that. So this version of the podcast is brought to you by Patriot Mobile, and so it's super exciting to have them on board with us, and helping us really move into that level that we have. So let's watch this first video, and then we'll be right back and see if it plays. But we'll show some of the things about the race, and we got 3 videos about Larson's victory, and then we'll talk about other things. So here we go.
And then, kaboom! Ryan Blaney's engine goes up in smoke. Second engine failure of the year for the number 12. They lost one at Phoenix.
You're blown up or something. You have got to be shitting me. Oh my God. Sorry, fellas. It'll go our way eventually, I hope. Appreciate the fast car.
It happens, and we haven't seen a lot of blown engines, but we have seen some. Sorry for the light that shone in my face. Studio door opening. But we just see some engine blow up. So, it's going to happen. They push them hard to give them everything they got. And so, it's going to happen sometimes. Unfortunately, they've had to. And that's really tough on them. That's a hard thing to overcome sometimes. And you got to go back to just looking to see why it didn't hold up when others did, and getting with their engine people. They've got great equipment, and they'll figure it out. But let's get to those that let's look at the last stages of the race, and this powerful move by Larson, and he brought it home. And we'll look at a couple things with him, and then we'll get into some visuals here. But let's look at a couple things about Larson. He brought it home. He's a heck of a driver, and has great equipment. And you got a great team, you got great equipment, you got great skill. Usually, good things are going to happen. And that was the case here. So here we go.
Races are never over. We've seen it time after time. So it just takes one mistake. Keep yourself close if you're Alex Bowman.
I think the 5 got in the fence again, getting into 3.
I don't think he cares at this point. I think it's different when he hits the fence. A lot of times he can keep the right rear just hitting the fence, and it doesn't grab the front. And you saw when Alex hit the fence, it just sucked the whole car in. But Kyle has a great way of being able to bounce that right rear off the wall and keep that front from grabbing.
It's a very different race for Kyle Larson. Usually dominates, leads all the laps, and has something happen. Get it around here to the white flag. A race is official 11 times. He's been here and only won once. That tells you how hard it is to ride this wall for 267 laps.
White flag here. One more good one.
White flag for Larson, who's only led 18 laps today.
Yeah, I mean, he's flat out the best at riding the wall. We would consider him the best at this particular racetrack, and all weekend he has put on display exactly what we think with his talents.
Kyle Larson about to become the 3rd winningest driver for Hendrick Motorsports, behind Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. 2/3 of the clean sweep for the weekend, and coming around turn 4 for his 30th career win, Kyle Larson for Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet wins in Homestead.
That's a big win for him. Good run for Alex Bowman. It's a heartbreaker. Did a great job. Great weekend. Good turnaround from Chase Briscoe at 19. But you can't keep a good man down. This man owns this racetrack, Kevin.
Always fun to win at a racetrack that you're supposed to win at. And as you said earlier, he definitely didn't go out and dominate today. We expected Tyler Reddick and him to go dominate this race, and neither one of those things happened. It was Ryan Blaney most of the day, but when the money was on the line at the end of the race, Kyle Larson's going to be in victory lane.
Hell yeah, baby! Let's go! Yeah, guys! Holy never give up, guys! Let's go! One heck of a drive, Larson. One heck of a drive. I'm so proud of you.
Some of the radio traffic, you're going to get a little salty language there, so they bleeped it. So I, hope that's okay. That's racing, as they say. And I'll show you one more here in just a second, the applicable burnout. But Bowman was in the lead. Larson is, if you watch the race, this, was coming on, and he might have made it anyway. They were saying he would catch him in, with 2 laps to go. And the other guy said, I think he's going to get there before that. It looked like to me he was going to get there within 2 laps, not with 2 laps to go. But then Bowman hit scraped the wall, got the front and the rear, not just the rear, slowed him just enough. Here comes Larson, dusted him. And Larson, as they said, is a master at that. He just knows how to just tag that with the rear quarter panel just a little bit, but it not slow him down, sort of a bounce off effect. Bowman couldn't quite do that. Probably was, watching the rearview mirror, I'm sure. And, so teammates, Jeff Gordon up in the booth watching everything for Hendrick Motorsports. And, who do you root for? Well, you root for everybody. And, their drivers did very well. That's been a powerful team for a long, long time. And, of course, Gordon back in the day was one of those drivers, right? And let's look at one more here. I believe I have.
Left is now going to be at the start-finish line.
There he goes. I shredded one of those rears.
Look at the right rear of that car.
Wow.
But having the confidence to do that, Clint, is just, he's at another level with that because he's just not scared of it.
So, yeah, for the fans, and for themselves, it's fun. That's every young guy, wants to burn out. And, you think about it, a whole race where, milliseconds and everything has to be just right. You're racing within just inches of each other at ridiculous speed, dealing with all sorts of different things. You're having to not only manage the car and the track, which is very difficult, radio traffic coming back and forth, talking to the spotter, or even just listening to the spotter, whole race long, and the grind of that, and, the pressure of that, slowing down to the right speed for pit lane, pit roads, you don't go over, making sure you get in your pit box, making sure you don't hit somebody coming out or them hit you. There's tons of information, and then, at the end, if you're in victory lane, all that adrenaline dump, that would be that you've won. You could hear it in its voice. You get over there, and, it's a great release. And so it's a great feeling. I mean, I can't say what that feels like because I've not won a NASCAR race, but I can imagine what that must feel like to be in that spot. And, some drivers never, think about it, some drivers never, at least at this level, they may have won at other levels. Some drivers will never know that feeling. It just never will. It just won't get there. Some drivers may do it once or twice or 3 or 4 times, and that's it over a long career. Some drivers, a very few, do it many times. And, pretty amazing stuff. I think with that race win, I think it was Larson that's now 3rd most for the Hendrick Motorsports. Of course, Gordon is, obviously up there. But 30, I think it is. So 30 times made it to victory lane. That's not easy, folks. That is not easy. A lot of stuff has to go right. A lot of stuff has to really just line up. Hello, Miss Jenneth. How you doing? Thanks for dropping in. We're glad to have you. But a lot of things have to go right in that race. And like I said, the pit crew has to do their job. The the driver has to do their job. The people back at the shop who put everything together, the engines, all the things that go into that. It's a huge operation, and your crew chief making the calls on when to do certain stuff. And we've seen drivers in this race who, in fact, Chase Elliott, who was not happy about a penalty he received, and so you got to stay away from the penalties. The fuel, got to keep that managed. The tires, not have a blowout if you can help it, not hit the wall. And so anybody that thinks this is just cars turning in a circle without any kind of grind, they're not athletes. I'm sorry, they're idiots. I get it. People that don't like NASCAR, they criticize that and they make jokes about it. Well, you know what? Get in the car and go that speed, that close to the wall, and even brushing it a little bit for that long of a time, and then tell me what you think about it. That's all I'll say. People don't have to like NASCAR; they can hate it, but that's just ignorance, really, and just haters to say that. And he's a great example of that. You're coming off that corner and you are, right close to that wall. Think about it. When we drive on the interstate, we don't like that wall being right there beside us. It gives you a feeling. He kind of uses the wall as a help in that way, and that takes a unique skill set to do that. Not that he's doing it every time, but when he needs to, he can just barely scrape that wall and just kind of bounce back where other drivers can't do that. It's an art, and he may not be able to do that at every track, but he can do it at this track. So let's look at a few things. And of course, there's Dean. He did make the show. Shout out to him. Pray for him. He really hates it. I love having Dean as the co-host, and he's a lot of fun. He's super excited, and I felt bad for him when he texted me today and was telling me that he wasn't going to be able to make it, and I hope he is able to watch. Dean, I hope you're out there. I hope you're able to watch. If not, it'll be out there for you to review afterward, because they stay out there on the streams that we're in. And I think on Facebook, they stay out there for a year before they delete them from theirs. And of course, they're on other sites forever. You could go to YouTube or wherever, and our videos are there. So, some of them don't store them, but most of them do. And so we've got them out there, and you can go back and review any of those. So yeah, Dean, shout out to him. And I appreciate his enthusiasm. Your driver didn't win. He's kind of struggled this year so far. I thought he was going to come on in this race, but he didn't quite make it up there. So we'll do a couple of things here. There's the winning driver, the old selfie. Got the boy there. He was. I was thinking about this as I was watching the Victory Lane celebration, and they're wore out. And the first thing they do is you got this adrenaline dump going on. They put a microphone in your face. Of course, you're happy to do it, but I can't imagine. You can tell sometimes during the winter, when they're in the winter circle and they're talking to them, you can almost see the adrenaline as they just all of a sudden look just exhausted, like that adrenaline as it drains back down. You could see that, and he looked. You could tell it was getting to him a little bit, but they give him that time, and so a winner, and everybody loves to be around a winner, and congrats to him. And so we see here, the results, and so. Larson, I changed it up a little bit this week, so I could just put it on one slide, and we'll I think, I had it on one slide maybe last time, I don't remember, but I did change a couple things around, and we're mainly looking at the very the top 10, 15 so much, but another driver that really came on was Bubba Wallace. Bowman, again, the teammate, the 200 guys, they were right there 1-2. Bubba was coming on, and I got to give him credit. He said all the right things in the post-race interview. He didn't get, he's had that problem before where he kind of let emotion get to him, and there's, we talked about it. He could, he was frustrated because he wanted to win. He felt like they had the car to win, but at the end I always hate it when a guy won't give a guy credit, and he said, Larson was the guy that day. And they're glad with the 3 finish, and that's big for them in that Toyota. And then the 2 Gibbs guys, Briscoe and Hamlin. Hamlin was good throughout the day, real steady. coming up through the pack, setting himself up for a nice finish. Was never going to, I don't think, ever challenge Larson or even Bowman, and maybe not even Wallace, but he was up there a lot throughout the race. Joe Gibbs, 2 cars right there. And then Buescher, RFK Racing, Ford. So we had the 2 Chevrolets, the 3 Toyotas, and then there's your first Ford, Buescher, coming in, the Dinger, the Chevrolet. And then Reddick, who has not been in victory lane yet, has been coming on some, and didn't, he never really looked like he was going to be the guy in this race, but you could tell it's going to come because he's very steady, and he's racing really hard in that Toyota. Another Ford, Ryan Preece, Byron, who the third Hendrick here, who of course they have 4. The third Hendrick driver, Byron, who's been so good, never was really this race. He was solid though, very solid, top 10 or 11, whatever it is there. But he did really well, and continues the good run. Dylan, who's had struggled for Childress Racing, Richard Childress Racing, had came up better than he has. Nice finish. It was good to see him kind of get back in some good racing there at the end. And Logano has again struggled some. A pretty good finish in this race for Penske. Eric Jones, Noah Gragson, Josh Berry, our winner last week, dropped down some, and he will drop down a little bit in the points too, but still a very strong run for the Wood brothers. He's done well in every race, and I didn't think he would win this race, but wanted to see a good finish out of him. Got that. He had been lower than this at times, but he consistently been running anywhere from 12th to 17th, somewhere in there. At times had dropped a little lower, but fought back. A very nice 15th, 16th for him. Very nice. Way to go, Josh Berry. I like the Wood brothers, and I like this car. I like this Ford, and I'm rooting for Josh Berry. And there's Chase Elliott, the 4th Hendrick car. Again, made some mistakes, and of course he was not happy. Not happy. Sorry, Dean, but still a nice finish. He's showing his talents rise to the top. Great equipment. Same thing with Larson. But our Larson is the guy right now at that team. I mean, let's face it, Larson is the guy. And then you might say Chase, but Chase is going to have to knock him out of the way to reclaim that title. Larson seems to be stronger right now. Cindric, another Penske car, and then McDowell and John Hunter Nemechek dropped back a little bit from last week, but still a nice finish. Stenhouse Jr. a little bit better. Ty Gibbs, Keselowski just can't seem to get it together anymore. Ty Dillon, and then you see the rest of them. Christopher Bell, Joe Gibbs Racing really fell back in this race. He'll have to get back on it, and we see some of the ones at the end. So we'll move on, and Martinsville, we'll see in a minute, will be there. And so we have finished that. Martinsville, 400 laps, Martinsville, Virginia, right there on that North Carolina, Virginia line. And the Cookout, 400. I like me some Cookout now. I do go there. Get me a large sweet tea. Another 3 p.m. start on Sundays. Looking forward to that. It's not my favorite track, but it's a lot of history there, and I like Martinsville. And and then we've got some big, Darlington. I love Darlington now. That's one of my really favorite tracks is Darlington. That old Southern 500, and a lot of history at Darlington. And then of course the first Bristol, and that's always big on there, and Talladega. So these are fun races coming up. So we got 3 400s in a row, and then the Food City 500, and the Jack Links 500 at Talladega. That's going to be cool to see that. Let's take a quick commercial. Maybe Rob will jump in this last part of the show. If not, we're going to look at points, and then we'll talk about whatever, and looking forward into the crystal ball a little bit. Maybe we did pretty good, I think, in our picks for this race, and so we'll see. But let's run a commercial and get some of our affiliates in, and we'll be back in a second, folks. Thanks for watching Southern Fried Racing Hour. I'm Dave in the AM, your host. We appreciate your support. We don't take that lightly, and you make it worth it all for us to do this. We enjoy what we do, but without you, it wouldn't mean near as much. And so we appreciate you, and we thank you for your support. Hey, Southern Fried fans and your Cornbread Nation. Well, yeah, that's right. We're going to advertise for Mammoth Nation. To all proud Americans, we call attention to these thoughts. Are you tired of woke corporations that don't align with your values? I know we are. Look no further than Mammoth Nation, the ultimate destination for patriots like you and me and Rob and everybody else, including old crazy Uncle Jeb, who believe in putting America first. Here at the Southern Fried Podcast, we're proud to partner with Mammoth Nation because they share our unwavering commitment to faith, family, and yes, freedom. Just like us, Mammoth Nation believes in the power of the American spirit and the importance of preserving our great nation's heritage. When you join Mammoth Nation, you're not just getting access to amazing discounts on products and services. You're becoming a part of a community that stands against the forces trying to tear our country apart. From supporting veterans and first responders to promoting Christian values, Mammoth Nation is the go-to platform for conservatives who want to make their voices heard. So what are you waiting for? Join the Mammoth Nation movement today and start enjoying exclusive deals from businesses that share your America First values. Together, we can make America great again, one purchase at a time. Don't miss out on this opportunity to support a company that truly cares about our nation's future. Sign up for Mammoth Nation now and experience the difference of a community that puts America first. Use that QR code on the screen, folks, and that will take you right to the website where we also will be helped in your support of these values. We are customers of this great American company. Rob is a monthly supporter, and I am a lifetime member of Mammoth Nation. We're so appreciative of companies like this. Please be a supporter, not just for us, but for America. These companies need our support. We're patriots. Stand together with patriots. Take care, and God bless.
You're the pulse to my motor, my electric desire. You're my star blaze rhythm, let me dance in your fire. And I just can't stop it all night, every day.
Yes, Robin, Dave, y'all.
Southern Fried Podcast fans, this is Dave in the AM. I want to tell you about our store. We've been promoting it a little bit. We wanted to promote it a little bit more and let you know we've been adding some designs to it, and we're continuing to do that. Right now, there's a summer sale going on. You're going to see here in just a second what kind of discounts you can get. They're pretty amazing. Our old store became cumbersome, and it was not easily updated, and we have since went to a new store, and the old one is still there, and if you decide to shop there, that's fine. But this is our new store, and it is so easy for us to manage. And we want to thank the folks at Threadless for that. So on the screen right now, you see some shirts, some of the different designs. One of our newest one is the Georgia outline, the red one. We really like that. You see some of our classic designs. You see some here that you may not have seen before. And again, we're designing and adding to just about every week. You see hats. There is just about anything in there, and we're trying to add more products all the time, as well as those new designs. So go shop at the Southern Fried Podcast store, and you'll be able to get some of these things too. Here's the QR code for that. You can see at the top of the page, 40% off right now. These are amazing prices going on. The store is very affordable. Me and Rob wanted as best the prices as we could get, and this is the place that we found to be able to do it. And there's the address. You can copy that out or use the QR code. We thank you for your support of the Southern Fried Podcast and watching the shows and supporting us and letting us know how much you enjoy it. You mean a lot to us. Take care. God bless, and we'll see you soon. All right, and we're back. It's my script, my video is small right now, but my hat just came in today from our store. So I have ordered in a coffee mug with that Georgia logo, and then that's our classic Cornbread Nation logo. And love the hat, feels great, fits great, and was affordable. We appreciate that. Today, I just loaded up 3 killer, and I can say that because I am completely stoked about the the logos that we loaded up there. In fact, that one you just saw on the screen with Rob and the coffee cup and it on fire, that was one of them. We have a new Cornbread Nation logo that we loaded up, and we've got a bunch of stuff that's going up just about every day, but about every other day right now. We're really trying to hammer out and get as much up as we can to give you options on all the different things and find something that you really would like. So we're working hard. The one today, Rob was like, yes, absolutely. I love that logo. I got his opinion. We shot that thing up, and I loaded another one. I'm trying to remember what it was. I was trying to hurry, multitasking, trying to get that loaded up. But it's so easy. I can do it from my phone and, get it up there and put it on all the products. And it's ready to go within just minutes. I mean, it's the other store we said was so frustrating. So anyway, visit our store, and we appreciate you. Let's get back to this. We see the schedule there. Now let's look at the point standing. Now, last week we had that green arrow on Josh Berry because he just shot up with that win. He dropped back a little bit this week, but he's still down there. Byron, with his powerful, early start to the season, holds on for right now to the top spot, but he's going to have to really watch, or he's got to hold on tough for that. He's been 1 or 2, and but Larson is coming, and so he was as low as 8th, but now he's moved up, and we see that. And I didn't change their number on here; I just moved the name. So if you see the number to the left, I just moved them. So they're in the order. Then Bowman, who fell down some, just a little bit there. But Reddick, he's been consistent coming on. Christopher Bell, again. There's Chase, started having better finishes, even though it's not where he wants to be. So that helps him. And we'll kind of see, I didn't do it at the top 12. We'll see the back end of this thing a little bit. Bubba Wallace with the green arrow as well. Hamlin with the green arrow. So these guys are running well. Josh Berry still, just still doing well. But Logano, Blaney, of course, we saw Blaney in troubles he had. Busher, so there's your top 12. A little bit of change, not mainly just flip of spots, but there was a couple of big risers and a couple of big fallers as they moved into those spots. So we do see that. And, we'll get to Martinsville and see what happens there on the short track. It's really interesting how the season works when you think about these different tracks. We've had a road course, we've had Daytona, obviously, Vegas, and these different tracks, down in Austin and now Miami, and it really does put the drivers through their paces to master all of these tracks. And some tracks, some drivers, even really good ones, don't like. They just don't do good there. They might not be horrible, but they're not predicted to win a race like that. So when you get into short tracks racing, things change, right? And just more, bump and grind. You wear your brakes out. There's the tempers get heated, especially at like Bristol, and jump back on a super speedway. And so we see a little bit of that, in the mix, mid-sized tracks, super speedways, and the short tracks. And just at the top, to be in that top, to be eligible for, playoffs and things, you got to master all that. Some of the drivers have had just some, like I say, engines blowing up. That driver can't help that. They don't have anything to do that unless he done something to it. But in this case, he just run it along. Sometimes drivers can use their tires up, so that goes to the driver. They may, make a misstep on pit road. That's totally on the driver. He's got to get below that, or he or she. There are some female drivers, but they've got to get below that pit road speed. That's on them. Again, the one loose tire getting away can cause a drive through. of pit road, or like I say, you're hitting each other as you're coming in and out. The fuel, some races, that fuel window, you got to get all that gas in there you can. Just a lot of stuff like that. These teams, they practice that, videotape it, and then you get it on Sunday in the heat of competition. Things happen. Speaking of heat comes into play as we get into the summer months. It's hot in there now, but think how hot it is in July and August, as they're just drained and they're constantly trying to put fluids through the window when they get in, and just mere seconds they're trying to down that and get going again. So the physical aspects of it, that's why people get some age on them. Not as easy to have the endurance, not as easy to overcome that. We know what that feels like. Maybe we don't have the energy we used to have, and they're doing this at a high caliber level. And again, it's just that things change. Things change on a track. Maybe since the time you were there, they resurfaced a track, or other things. Rule changes. That's another thing that comes into play when we think about rule changes that come into play since you've been at a track or something like that. And then there's just controversy. You disagree. NASCAR says one thing, you say another. It's a bang bang type of thing, and so that can cause a lot of frustration for drivers and owners and crew chiefs and the whole team. And then you get the personalities in there. You get these guys have problems. They're not friends. They've had history of knocking each other out of a race, and fans love that because they really get into they want to hate on some driver, but they it's payback. You bumped me in the last race and never got you back. I'm looking for my spot, and I'm gonna get up there. I'm gonna put you just hit that rear end just a little bit, bump you a little bit, kind of knock you off your game, spin you out. And so as the season heats up, the competition heats up, the temperatures heat up, the demands heat up, then those things come into play. And I know Larson, when he was doing his champion talk, his winter circle talk, he talked about how far they in to the season, and he said, listen at me, he said it's only been 5 races. He goes, it feels like it's been 3 months. That tells you because they're constantly with it during the season. You're running practice laps, you're testing things. There's a lot these teams, they're looking ahead, and there's very few off weeks during the season, so the grind really starts wearing on you. And you could tell he already felt that. And some teams, if they've got off to a bad start, they start putting internal pressures on themselves, and and there could be suspension of crew members. That has happened. I think there's 1 or 2 teams dealing with a crew member, and it don't sound like much, but you take a team. They are a team. A team works together. They practice together. Speed, and speed. You take one guy out, you put one guy in due to he got injured or he got suspended or whatever, then that team dynamic is a little off, and you're working with a guy that you're not used to working with, and it really is an art to it. You watch how they get the car up, get the tire off, then you got the people that are catching the tires as they roll them back out there. They're spinning on the other side. The gas man's got to watch these guys coming back around. The jack man's got to do his job. He's got to drop that at the exact right time. The driver has got to not overspin the tires. It's just a really it's like synchronized swimming, but in a racing style. And all these things have got to go on, or then that extra second could you come in first, you go out 5th or 6th, and just the pressure of that, and some drivers have not handled that real well. They've burned down their team, and that doesn't play well. Nobody likes to be thrown under the bus. You should handle all that internally, privately, and they already know that. You don't got to scream at them on the radio or in the post-game race and say, well, my crew messed up. They got to do better than that. You just don't burn them down like that. And there's been some drivers that have been bad about that. Because sometimes the driver messes up, and it'd be like the team getting on the radio and going, "What are you doing, you big dummy?" You just can't do it. It could be a crew chief. He's made a call. We're going to come in now, or we're going to stay out. There were drivers that did that. There's a lot of coordination. There's a lot of looking at points, and do we stay out and get some lead points, or maybe we got a chance to get to the end of the stage and get points there, or we don't have a chance at all. This is the only chance we got. We're going to race it as hard as we can, hope for a caution. So you're gambling. There's a lot of gambling that goes on with that, and it really takes these teams. It pushes them to the limit sometimes, and tempers flare. Nobody likes to lose. Nobody likes to mess up. And you're on, millions of people watching across the world, and they're watching you at your most extreme moment. And so sometimes you do see the thrill of victory, as the old ABC tagline, but the agony of defeat. And there's only one can win. So you have to find positives, right? So top 5, top 10, top 15. Didn't damage the car. It's a strong car. We'll be there next week. And then sometimes there's nothing positive out of it. You wreck out in the first 10 laps. I mean, you load up and you just go to the next track and get ready, because there's nothing you can do. Engine blows up, you get spun out and, the car's beyond repair, or, there's all those variables that play into that as the season goes on. I just think of that pressure that builds and builds and builds. And Larson's feeling that. I mean, they're all expected to win. Let's be honest. Some of them are expected to by many more people. Your sponsors, you think about the pressures of these people that have put all this money into your car, and, they want to return on investment, ROI. And they're looking at that. You've got to handle yourself right. You could lose sponsors by your attitudes and things. I still think it's a bit concerning when you look at the racing. There's a lot of corporate money in there, but if you look at the stands, they're not full. NASCAR has never been able to get all the fans back. Now, I'm not saying there won't be some races that are packed out. Those around holidays, Talladega should be pretty good. Bristol, we'll see. But that race, when they were doing introductions and stuff, and the cheers were not as loud, and you could tell that. They try to be creative with those cameras, they don't like to show that, but sometimes they just can't help it, and they pan the crowd, and there was quite a few people there, but I don't even think it was half full. I think it was less than half full, and that's tough. That's tough. So because the fans are the ones buying the memorabilia, the programs, the shirts, the hats. Buying the food, and paying obviously for the cost to get in. I was looking at cost because me and Dean had talked about the race, and I hadn't looked at it a little bit. And me and him sat after the show last week, and we looked up a few races just trying to get an idea. And honestly, it's not a whole lot different than it was at some tracks than it was years ago, because they can't sell these things, and they're running package deals for 2 and 3 tickets. And so if you was ever thinking about going to a race, I think now's the time to do it. I can remember some racetracks where there was a waiting list, like Bristol. You can get into these tracks right now. Look out in the future, find one that's near you, and look at it. Go ahead and get your tickets. And we're going to try to do that. We're going to try our very best to get to a race and broadcast post-race or somewhere close. And so pray for us that we'll be able to do that. But it is very affordable, what you're seeing right now with these race teams and racetracks. Not quite as many race car drivers out there. I can remember the days, and I said this last week, 42, 43, 45, 44 drivers, 30s now. And it's hard. And you think about a team like Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, Richard Childress Racing, these multiple teams, like the Wood Brothers, they got Josh Berry. But think of what you have to have, all these sponsors to keep those cars rolling. And the expense on that continues to go up. It don't get cheaper. So, they're looking, there's a lot of people that quit supporting racing. They pulled out of it. And even for the name of the, naming of the race or the track, we look at that. I want to put that back up just for a second. And I think it's fair to do when you look at those races, and you look at a Goodyear, or you look at a Food City, or you look at a Jack Links or Cookout or Straight Talk. the massive amount of money, and sometimes they have a car in there too, and many times they do, but look at the cost of what they're doing. And, if you like what they're doing and you appreciate them being a sponsor, let them know. And that's important with anything, with anybody. I was talking to a podcaster who we haven't done any kind of selling advertising spots in our show. It could happen one day. Right now, we just like to support small business, and we don't charge for that. We've got friends enough that we want to help them out in ministries. But it's important for them to know that, again, that they're getting, people are seeing that. And so when I was looking at, I found this podcaster I really liked, and they ran a number of ads. When I was talking to them here recently, I said, maybe I need to go back and do it again. But I was telling them, hey, I called all your advertisers, or I called them up, or I emailed them and let them know we appreciate their support of you. And she was, oh, thank you so much. That means everything. That's I just wanted them to know. And there were some chains that were a part of that. Some were small business, and they're still there. I watched the show, and they're still there. So maybe I need to revisit that and let those sponsors know, hey, appreciate what you're doing. When you use one of these QR codes or a link that we have to a website, and you go and you do that, you're letting that person know, that organization, that, hey, we appreciate what these old boys are doing. And so I was in a podcaster recently, a guy that I really like on Rumble, and he was doing promo codes for his coffee that he has. It's their coffee, but he's using as gets a cut off of it for using the promo code. And right in the middle of the show, I just ordered some. In fact, I've been drinking it here in the studio. It came in 55coffee.com. There's a number of them, and eventually we'll have coffee. And so things are tough, things are expensive, and we're not begging. We're just saying, if you like what we do, then visit some of these. And at the same time, you're getting value. And so I think about these NASCAR teams. What's in it? They're getting some value. They're getting some entertainment, and but you have to, everybody has to manage their money. When you go to a race, do we eat beforehand? Can we afford to buy anything to eat? Can we do we just tough it out, eat crackers, and then we get out, we eat a nice dinner? People work those kind of things out. Maybe you've identified one thing that we can afford, from the merchandise table for our favorite driver or drivers, and you've already mapped that out. And sometimes you spend a little more because you see stuff, you're like, oh, I wanted that too. But all of that goes into supporting that. So thank you for your support of racing. Thank you for your support. This is everything we do. We're doing it because we're fans, and we appreciate you staying here, the ones that are in here tonight, and staying with us. And y'all pray for Dean. I miss him. It's it's when you're a team, it's not easy to go by yourself. We're professionals. We can do that, but it's not the easiest thing, because you're used to the dynamic of, half of the show is going to be your co-host who's going to share their thoughts, and you're going to feed off each other. We didn't have that tonight, but we'll get it again. Dean, get better. That's the most important thing, is them getting better. So y'all pray for him. We'll be back next week. We'll look at Martinsville, and I can't wait to see that race. So I'm a fan, so I like it. I got to get me a race out. And we'll get a Southern Fried Racing logo up too. We don't have that in the store yet, but that's coming, and you'll see that very soon. We're going to go out with some music, and we appreciate your support, and join us next week, and we'll do our best to stay active in and giving you quality, and bringing videos and different things that we can do. Interviews eventually with some folks that are connected to racing, we hope to do as well. So hang in there. We'll get that stuff to you. All right. Take care. It's Dave the AM. We'll see you next time.
souls, tearing through the endless cold. Twisting metal, thunder growls, screams of tires, dirt that scowls. Crank it loud, boys, let it blast. Roads of fury racing fast. Southern Pride racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Every lap a rebel's dream. Gasoline, hearts and the scream. Dave and Dean crown the track. Each corner fight, ain't turning back. Crank it loud, boys, let it blast. Roads of fury racing fast. Southern Pride racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Nights alive, wheels embrace, burn the streets, set the pace. Hours, speed's the creed. Southern Pride, race and breed. Southern Pride, racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Nights alive, wheels embrace, burn the streets, set the pace. Hours, speed's the creed. Southern Pride, race and breed. Yeah!